Pop quiz. Do you think San Francisco is building more or less housing right now? If you said less, you're in the majority, but you're wrong. The city is in one of its biggest development cycles in history. Most of this is actually happening in neighborhoods you wouldn't expect. In today's video, we're going to be discussing where this is happening and what it means for you if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in San Francisco. Hey everyone, by the way, my name's Epstein and I'm a lifelong San Franciscan and realtor here in the Bay Area. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or even renting here in San Francisco, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to be a resource for you. I've been tracking the city's development pipeline closely. This directly impacts me and my clients. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer trying to understand the market, investor looking for the best long-term opportunity, or a current homeowner trying to decipher what's going on in your neighborhood. In today's video, I'm going to give you a full picture of what's being built here in San Francisco. Not what was proposed 5 years ago and not what might happen. These are things that are actively under construction or will be breaking ground soon. At the end, I'll connect this to what this actually means for the market. Understanding the supply pipeline and the timing helps you make better decisions about neighborhoods, investments, and your timeline. Section 1. Let's talk about the housing crisis for context. San Francisco's housing crisis is not new. We have a supply and demand imbalance here that has been apparent for decades. The city has struggled to build housing at the pace needed to keep up with job growth, especially with tech demand. On top of that, the market is tight. Inventory in San Francisco is down anywhere from 30 to 40% year over year. Homes are generally selling between 2 to 4 weeks on average. Over 80% of single family homes are selling above asking price. The median condo just hit a price tag of $1.2 million, and homes are receiving 4 or more offers on average. This tells us that demand is obviously strong and supply is the bottleneck. This brings us to the natural question, which is what is being done about it? What's actually being built now to address this imbalance? That's what we're going to go over for the rest of this video. Section number 2, Southeastern San Francisco's transformation. If you want to understand where San Francisco's growth is concentrated, you need to look no further than Southeastern San Francisco, especially along the waterfront. The area spanning Mission Bay, Dogpatch, Potrero Hill, and all the way down to Candlestick Point are undergoing the most significant transformations. This isn't speculative because we actually have projects underway right now. Let's start with Mission Rock. Mission Rock is a mixed-use development that is the land of the Port of San Francisco's, which is right next to Oracle Park where the Warriors play. We're talking over 1,200 residential units, office space, retail, and parks. The whole package here is designed to be walkable and transit-oriented. This project won't be happening in isolation. Just down the waterfront, you have the Potrero Power Station. This is a formal industrial site which is being redeveloped into a completely new neighborhood. Here we're looking at thousands of residential units, including affordable housing. On top of that, there is retail, open space, and direct connections to the waterfront. This will go down as one of the largest redevelopment projects in the entire city's history. It's transforming an area which has been abandoned for years. And then there's Pier 70, which is along the same corridor. This is a historic shipyard, which is being transformed into a mixed-use district. It's adaptive reuse of historic buildings combined with new construction. You've got residential, office, and public waterfront access. This will appeal to people who want that industrial character with modern amenities. If you go further south, you have Candlestick Point and the Hunters Point Shipyard. This is a massive project that has been in the works for years, but finally there's some development happening. Here we're talking about a project that has multiple phases. In the end, it should result in thousands of residential units, parks, retails, and community spaces. The goal here is to create an entirely new neighborhood in a part of San Francisco that has been underserved for a long time. So when you take a step back and look at the southern eastern part of the city as a whole, you're seeing billions of dollars in new development and thousands of new residential units being developed. This part of the city will look entirely different in the next 5 to 10 years. Section 3, major mixed use and neighborhood scale projects. There are major projects happening in other parts of the city as well. Let's begin by talking about Treasure Island. This is one of the most ambitious projects in the entire Bay Area. Thousands of residential units are planned, including affordable housing. Also coming online are new parks, retail, and ferry service to San Francisco. The challenge with Treasure Island is how slow moving the project is. Infrastructure needs and environmental remediation have really made things slow down here. As more phases of construction begin and end, more people will move in here, and Treasure Island will become a new thriving community rather than just an idea. Next, you have Stone Galleria, which is our shopping mall near San Francisco State University and the Sunset District. This thriving mall is being transformed into a mixed-use community. This will consist of residential towers, retail, and open space. This is a trend you'll see around the whole country. Malls being transformed into mixed-use communities or residential spaces. Keep in mind that in most areas, these malls tend to be dying, but Stonestown is actually thriving right now. The location here makes it a natural fit for higher density. You're close to the university, close to the Sunset, and you're in a part of the city that can absorb more housing. And then there's 10 South Van Ness. This is a significant mixed-use project near the Civic Center. It also consists of residential, retail, and office space. This is urban infill at scale, taking an underutilized site and transforming it by maximizing density in a transit-rich area. Projects like this are critical because they add housing to our inventory without sprawling outward. They make use of land that's already served by infrastructure and transit. Number 4, office to residential conversions and downtown's future. With remote work reshaping demand for office space, San Francisco has been exploring the idea of repurposing existing office spaces that aren't being used into housing. On paper, this sounds like a great idea because you have all this empty space in prime locations in San Francisco like downtown that aren't being utilized. Why not turn this into apartments? The truth is, it's harder than it sounds. Most office buildings weren't designed to be converted to housing. The floor plans tend to be too deep, the plumbing isn't set up for it, and the windows don't meet residential code. The economics to do this are tough. That said, there are some projects in the works, particularly in SoMa and the FIDI. The city has been offering incentives to make these transitions more financially viable. Even if a fraction of the proposed conversions actually happen, that's a meaningful increase to the housing supply. At a bigger picture, San Francisco's downtown needs more people living there rather than just working there. Office to residential conversions, even if difficult, are part of the solution here. Section 5. Infrastructure that supports growth. Infrastructure improvements that have been occurring all over the Bay Area make all of this development possible. Caltrain electrification is a game changer in making transportation easier from San Francisco down to the peninsula. It's now faster, cleaner, and there's more frequent service. That makes living in San Francisco and commuting to the South Bay easier than ever. This benefits neighborhoods in San Francisco that are near Caltrains. Some include Mission Bay, Potrero Hill, and the Bayview. If you can live in Mission Bay and get to Palo Alto in 35 minutes, especially with clean and frequent trains, this changes the calculus for many people. More broadly, transit improvements like this make higher density developments more feasible and more desirable. People are more willing to live in denser neighborhoods if they have good transit options. And cities can justify building more units if the transit actually supports this. So when you're thinking about San Francisco's development pipeline and how it's going to reshape the future, don't just think of buildings, think of the infrastructure that supports it. Section number 6, what this means for buyers, sellers, and investors. Okay, so now that we've covered a ton on what's being built, let's talk about what this actually means if you're a buyer, seller, or investor here in San Francisco. If you're a buyer, especially one looking in neighborhoods that are going to undergo significant development, you need to understand that that neighborhood will continue to evolve. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to know that the neighborhood might look different in 5 or 10 years from now. New supply can stabilize or even moderate prices in that area. Citywide, demand still outpaces supply. With that being said, buying near future transit or development areas can be a great long-term play. If you're a seller and you reside in a neighborhood that's adjacent to these that are undergoing significant developments, your property may benefit from spillover demand. New amenities, retail, and transit options can obviously increase the property value. Keep in mind here that timing can matter. Selling before significant new supply hits the market can be advantageous. If you're an investor, the southeastern part of the city is where the action is. Mission Bay, Dogpatch, Potrero Hill, and even further south. The AI boom and tech sector recovery are driving demand, especially in areas near office hubs like the SoMa or Mission Bay. These neighborhoods are more affordable than Pacific Heights or Noe Valley, but they're growing. If you have a long-term mindset, areas like the Bayview that are near a lot of this major new development coming can feature great growth and have long-term appreciation potential. Number 7, the reality check. Let's be realistic here. This isn't all great news. Even with all this new development coming, it's not coming fast enough to fix our housing crisis. And if it is, it's definitely not happening overnight. Many projects have been delayed, scaled back, and are taking longer than expected. Affordability is still a massive challenge. Building luxury condos doesn't necessarily help those people who can barely afford rent. The city has a regulatory environment, environmental reviews, and community opposition, which makes it hard to build here. On top of that, even though we have supply that's slated to increase, demand is also increasing. The AI sector is booming and people are moving back to San Francisco post-COVID. So yes, we're adding housing, but we're also adding to the amount of people that want to live here. I don't want to paint an overly rose picture here. San Francisco's housing crisis is not going to be fixed by these projects alone. This city needs to build faster if we want to make meaningful progress. Acknowledging the challenge doesn't mean we're ignoring what's actually happening. Thousands of units are being built and neighborhoods are transforming. If you're making real estate decisions in San Francisco, you need to factor that into your equation. So let's recap. San Francisco is in one of its largest development cycles in decades. The Southeastern waterfront is going to look entirely different in the next 5 to 10 years. We have major mixed-use projects coming online, office to residential conversions, and major infrastructure improvements like Caltrain's electrification. The housing crisis is real here, but we do have a response. The question isn't whether San Francisco is building, it's whether we're building enough to actually solve the problem. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in San Francisco, especially in any of the neighborhoods that I spoke about, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. My contact information can be found below. And if you want more San Francisco specific real estate insights, please make sure you're subscribed. Like this video if it's helped, and let me know down in the comments below which neighborhood you think has the greatest potential over the next 5 to 10 years. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.